Hello, everybody, and welcome to this evening's There's a Will. Thank you for watching. Greetings to all of our viewers in Poland and the United States and whatever other place you may be watching from. I have a couple of great guests to join me. Yours truly, Will Richardson, in the studio. And it'll be via Skype from locations across the globe, but actually in Poland only. We have Olgierd Ujimbo of Warsaw University, a Chinese scholar, a scholar of Chinese, a sinologist. You're not Chinese.
No, unfortunately not. Maybe I would prefer to be Chinese. Who knows?
Really? You like? Yeah. Okay. Get some of that good apple stock or something. I don't know. Could. Anyway, coming to us from the outer reaches of Mazowieckie, the great state of Mazowieckie, where Warsaw is the main city. And we have from Gdynia, that beautiful port town, the busiest port town on the Baltic, that hub of international commerce and shipping. We have Anthony McFarland Gonzalez, our security expert and cyclist extraordinaire. Now, we were talking off camera, and you're in Gdynia for a reason. You got to refit your bike, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
What the heck happened?
Pretty severe accident. We in the final in the Vidgo Cycling Challenge this past weekend on Sunday. We crashed. It was with less than 650 meters to go. Two guys were fighting for it. One was pushing the other to the outside, almost making him crash with less than, probably a few centimeters before he hit the guardrail. I don't know why they do that. It's stupid. It's nothing. It's like the golden slipper effect. It's like, yeah, you won a bike race. That doesn't mean anything, really. And the one that was pushing him to the outside, he crashed, and his bike bounced in my lane. Yeah, the speed that we were going at was 69 kilometers an hour. That hurt a lot for me. The other guy, his shoes are ruined. That's okay. His bike is completely ruined because I ran over it. But yeah, whenever I hit it, I flew. I don't remember 15 seconds. But then I woke up, I was on the ground, and the doctor said that my hips shocked, the muscle in my hips were so shocked that they weren't working. So I couldn't stand up. I wiggled my toes. I did the standard typical thing. I wiggled my toes. I'm like, okay, nothing's broken. Back is good. And I did the self-assessment on it. But yeah, I ended up in the military hospital. I was there almost all overnight, typical standard NHS, almost 9-10 hours. So for the event for me ended at 1500 because that's when I was on the ground. The ambulance took me to the military hospital, and I spent the next 9-10 hours in the hospital. So a late night, and my bike is completely and utterly totaled. The steer tube is broken, top tube is cracked and splintered. Front wheel is wobbly, meaning the carbon is cracked on the rim, and all the componentry is basically destroyed or melted, doesn't work. There's an internal computer system on each one of the front derailleur and the rear derailleur. They're shaken, definitely not stirred, but shaken. Meaning that there's loose componentry. You can hear them in there. There goes quite a bit of money.
Yeah, because your bike is worth how much?
62,000 zloty.
62,000 zlotys. That's a nice. That was $15,000 or something, right?
Yeah, it's about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
14,500.
Yeah. And how much are you worth?
Priceless.
Yeah.
At least I would hope I am.
That's what I would say. So that's a pretty expensive accident, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, thank God that I'm not broken or anything. I just have a... Yeah. Needless to say, I'm glad that I'm not broken at all. There's just a severe road rash on my back, all my backside, and I'll leave your imagination for all my backside. Really big road rash on my right side.
Olgierd will not sleep now.
The image is going to be seared in his head. But so then I have road rash all up and down my right leg. Yeah, it's gnarly. So my helmet took a huge impact because that was one of the first parts that touched the ground, and it was the back end of my left. And I've had a little memory loss issue, but that's okay, thank God, because it could be a lot worse. So the MIPS helmet did work. So MIPS is a system that helps to keep your brain in place and allows your helmet to move around it. So the helmet takes the impact of it. But the crumple zones work on those helmets. So I always tell people, please wear your helmets no matter what the speed is, because you can severely hurt yourself.
Yeah, you sure can.
And my friend died on when I was actually looking at her dying because she was not wearing the helmet in a bicycle accident. In the bicycle accident.
Where?
Well, it was in China. It was night. There was a motorcycle and bicycle involved. And by the time we were there, she was already dying. We tried to keep her, but then the Chinese, medical help arrived, and she died actually with us there.
Wow. Yeah, bikes are very dangerous, and I see a lot of people.
No, but riding without helmets is very dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
But not only, even if you have a helmet, it's still dangerous because of cars.
Not as much. In her case, just as Anthony said, it would be exactly the same thing. If she had a helmet, she would be all right. She just hit the pavement, the edge.
The curb. Yep.
Oh, she hit the curb.
Yeah, the curb, exactly.
Ah, those curbs are.
A simple thing, it was not even a big speed because that was a very slow going motorcycle and a very slow going bike.
Yeah. Yeah. It's dangerous, and particularly if people don't follow the rules. But even if they do, you just never know. Accident. Right?
People at that age, they think to be immortal.
Yep. I see them every day when I'm on the bike. Yeah. I see them every day.
I think of any age, really.
What's that?
I think they're
well,
immortal.
you were wearing your helmet.
Immortal? Dude, tell it to the rest of my body. No. But, I mean, survived. But, I mean, the thing that sucks is that I have the money part of it. But I'm happy.
You have any insurance for that?
No, see, that's the weird thing, because the insurance here in Poland, I do have insurance. Actually, I do. No as in yes, I do. But the Polish insurance companies only cover if you cause the accident, so they cover the other person's bike. And they cover my medical expenses if I have to pay any medical expenses, or the other people's. So that's a good thing. That's the insurance that we have. However, this guy doesn't have insurance. So, yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, but it's weird that Polish insurances for bicycles don't cover bikes, which is weird, especially on a race day.
It is weird. Is this guy from Poland?
Yeah, all these riders are from Poland. The ones that are riding.
So we can sue him.
Well, the thing is, there's already a police report. There's CCTV, and there's a video that I sent you guys, so you guys can see it. And you'll see me. You'll see the blue blur flash right by your screen.
Oh, we can send that to us. We'll run it in the show.
I already have it in there. I already sent it to you guys.
Super. We'll run it in the show. That's amazing. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's amazing. I was once.
And to finish on a nice note, do you know that Gdynia actually exists also thanks to my great-grandfather?
Can you please enlighten us?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. In the pre-war times, when Gdynia was founded, it was founded because Poland needed a port, because Gdańsk was a free state, and it was not dependent on Poland, so Poland wanted to have some sea access and seaworthy port. And one of the organizers of the great building of Gdynia was Liga Morska, the Sea League, which president at that time was Adam Uziębło.
Aha.
Oh, get out of here.
That's your grandfather.
Great-grandfather.
Oh, sorry.
His son was a communist. That's another thing. That's my my grandfather.
Yeah, he was great. The other guy, not so great. In fact,
not so great, but
not
a good
even
mathematician.
Grand, really. Yeah. Not even really a grandfather at that point. Just kind of an okay, well, it's what you get, father, right?
Yeah, come on. Yeah. He's spent 12 years in jail. That's enough payment,
He did? When?
6 years in German camp because he was pre-war Polish officer, and then 6 years in the Soviet camp. Polish prison under Soviets. Everybody spoke Russian.
This was your grandfather, the communist.
That was my grandfather, the communist general, mind you.
Good Lord.
Jeez Louise, talk about a rich history, man.
I didn't know I don't think we have to be careful, all the skeletons that are
Oh, I'm pretty open about my
Appearing.
skeletons. Come on.
they're all appearing in the studio here. Stop! Skeletons everywhere. My goodness.
No,
What
we
a
got some good
polygyny.
No.
Yeah,
Well,
my family history is really interesting.
yeah.
I bet we should just do something on your family history. Yeah.
Dude, that'd be actually kind of cool.
It would be cool. Just do everybody's family history. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, mine. I have no clue, man. Mine is Mayan and some sort of African and some country. I have no clue. It's
Well,
all over the
that's
place.
not
Fascinating.
interesting.
We're
Mayan
working on
background.
Maya writing. Do you
Mayan, there's
realize there
nothing
is this
exotic about
Silabario
that.
Amazonico, which is a recreation of Mayan writing for the modern times? Beautiful thing.
I didn't know that.
Well, you see, that's why you have
no,
me
no.
here.
Not that exactly.
Good Lord, the things we're learning today. I must be. I'll have to listen to this and take notes, and do
thanks.
some studying, some further studying. Actually, learn something for a change. I have a sentence for you. I think I can say it. No, this is an easy sentence for foreign speakers. I just came up with an easy sentence to introduce foreign speakers to Polish. Ogio Jimbo mieszka w Międzyzdrojach, to jest blisko do Świnoujścia, niedaleko od Szczecin. Now, anybody who can say that fast, I'm not even sure what I just said, but I memorized it. And
But I don't live there. That's a lie.
Anthony, did you understand me?
Nope.
Yeah, because I threw in all those weird names. That's why.
Yes. But it's dealing with Szczecin, so I'm taking that he lives near Szczecin.
Well,
That's what you're
I said Ogio Ujimbo lives in Międzyzdroje, which is near Świnoujście.
Świnoujście, yeah.
Yeah.
Świnoujście,
Yeah,
okay.
which is not far from
Szczecin.
Stettin or Szczecin. Yeah.
Szczecin. And he likes going to Stargard Szczeciński.
Stargard Szczeciński. As opposed to Stargard Hiński. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. So I just thought I'd throw that in because I remember when I first was coming to Poland, how hard those three names were for me. It's not easy, but they were really hard for me. I couldn't even say them. They would just make if somebody said Międzyzdroje to me, my mind would hurt, you know? That's how raw and naive I was. And also, Świnoujście, forget it. I never would have got close. I never got close to that. And Szczecin only took me, years of therapy to be able to say that. But now I got
years
there.
of therapy.
Yeah, it was terrible, terrible thing. I would go in and they'd like, Szczecin. I have to say it 100 times and then drink cold tea, pots of cold tea.
The trick is you take a walk in Łazienki in November when there is a lot of leaves on the ground, and you just make the same sound. Szczecin. Szczecin.
Oh, here, brother, tell me what you're on. I need to find what you're on, man.
Dude, he's on the good stuff.
I'm on the
he's not sharing it.
countryside.
Oh, good. He's in the countryside on the good stuff. He got the wild mushrooms, my friend.
No, I've got some really domesticated cows outside, and this smell.
Ah, the invigorating smell.
Invigorating.
Oh, that's a
That's what you call it in
pleasant smell.
English.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I went to the toilet. It was so invigorating.
No, but hey, it is mushroom season, isn't it?
Oh, it's been mushroom season for like already a month.
Serious?
But not in this region. We're really dry down here. In the south of Poland, the mushrooms are on. And there are some new kinds,
true.
due to the temperature rise, you've got some new kinds of mushrooms showing up.
Really? That's actually a good thing to look out for because I would have thought that it would have probably been the same. I wonder if they're poisonous or edible.
Yeah, that's the trick. So people don't dare to collect them. But apparently there are some new kinds, and some of them are edible. And down here it was really a dry season, so not much mushrooms. Not
Yeah.
many.
You're not really down there.
there's-
You're to the east. You're not to the south. You're to the east
Yeah.
of us, almost direct, right? On the way to Białystok. Yep.
Yeah.
Jambrów. I mean,
Directly to the
we
east.
visited you. the
Yes, you
travel
did.
show.
You still remember.
Yeah. I mean, it was you, right? I mean, I meet a lot of people.
Probably me.
I'm kidding. I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
You know, there's a lot of people around here.
I didn't meet any other people in Jambrów. Only you and your beautiful wife.
I really like your pronunciation. Theoretically, it should be Zambrów, but etymologically, it's from the word żubr,
Uh-huh.
which was pronounced in ancient Polish żambr.
Uh-huh.
And żubr is the Polish bison.
Okay. So I'm saying it by mistake in an ancient way. Is that right?
In a good way, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Jambrów, I like the sound of it myself, maybe, but also I'm at sea when it comes to Z's or Z's or whatever you want to call
Come
those,
on.
those
Arabic
Russian
languages have
invasion
different
symbols.
has. We have different
What?
Z's.
What?
Can you,
You
hear
have
me?
a lot of Z's, and why is the question. You have a Z's disease.
Oh, we've got a lot of Z's. We got a lot of sh's, you know. Sh and she.
Gosh, we should do a program, since you're a linguist, we should do a program about Polish, just talking about how to pronounce things in Polish and some words, etymology. That'd be fun.
Oh yeah, that would be
Yeah.
fun.
Producers saying a lot of weird things
Although
in
I'll
my
tell
ear
you more
with a lot
about
of
Chinese
shush.
probably, but well.
Yeah. Exactly. Listen, what is this fascination, this, may I call it even a fetish with mushrooms? What's that all about? The Polish obsession with a mushroom.
I don't
I don't know, I
understand
think-
the lack of it.
It doesn't
Yeah,
exist
exactly.
anywhere else. This, we have 40 kinds of
All the
mushrooms.
Slavs have it.
All the Slavs have the same problem? I mean, same obsession? I mean, same predilection?
Same
Pretty
lot
much.
of mushrooms. Yes, of
Same
course.
love? Yeah? Can you explain
Probably
why?
because we had more forest for most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And in the forest, you had mushrooms, and where, you know, most of the people, as opposed to me, have really good eyes, so they can discern which mushrooms are good and which are bad. There are many rules on that.
Yeah, I know. I can't tell that at all. That's another program. You have to have the pictures and go through the whole mushroom.
Oh, pictures will not help
Culture.
you. You need to see
No,
them
you
in
need
real
to
life.
know. Yep.
Yes. Do you go and do this, Anthony? Do you do the?
Yeah, we're actually going next weekend. Actually, I'm probably starting throughout the whole entire week because the forest is right behind our house, and we just literally take a backpack, put it on the bike, and we just go out into the middle of nowhere. I was about to say BFE, middle of Egypt, and just pick one of the really good, humid, grassy knolls and start looking. And usually the dogs find them faster than we can, but usually you find patches. And then you find the big ones that are soft and spongy, that are spongy that look like a sponge on the bottom. Those are usually the good ones. But then the striped ones, you need to do this to the striped ones. You need to say X-nay on the ones that look like they have honeycomb.
There are several that are really discernible, like Kanya.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
And
What does
those
that
are really
mean?
excellent because you can make a really
I'm
nice
making notes. What does that
lunch with
mean?
Kanya.
Kanya? What is it? What is it? Good? It's bad.
I'll
No,
wait a
it's
moment,
good.
I'll
It's
check the
Kanya's
English
good.
name.
Okay.
Kanya is excellent. Actually, you can make a steak out of it. Maybe not steak; they're not that thick, but they're really nice and simple to be done. Wait, I'll check the.
Now, what do you eat these with rice or something like that?
Oh, you can eat them
whatever.
sauté, fried with eggs. with-
Oh, eggs is
Oh,
really
with eggs
good.
is a good idea, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
On your
You can dry them
steak.
for
if
the
you have a
winter
steak.
time.
Yeah, you can put them on steak. You can do it in stews. You can do it in stews, soups. Oh, they're really good soups, especially creamy mushroom soup. Actually, those are really the best ones for creamy mushroom soups.
Okay, in English, it's apparently called parasol mushroom.
A parasol mushrooms. Yeah. I mean, I don't know anything about mushrooms, and it's not my favorite thing. I guess that's why I haven't really learned
And
about it.
boletus,
Yeah.
borowik. Oh, that's really good taste. Soup.
I have not had a Bodovik one.
What
Really?
kind are best in soup? Because soup
It's
season's coming.
supposed to be the best. It's bolitus in English. Is bolitus,
Okay.
and it's spongy on the bottom, and there are many kinds of it. But the only one that is not good is not really poisonous, but it's just bitter. It's easily discernible from the other ones, and bolitus is considered by Polish people to be the best of the mushrooms. It's
Wow.
excellent for the stew. Very good.
Are mushrooms good for us or not? I'm never sure.
No, they're rich in minerals, but they have no
Nutritional value 0.
nutritional value.
They're called
0.
nightshades as well. They're from the nightshades. Some of those things, this sort of genre are not particularly good for you for some reason. I can't remember what it is. But also tomatoes are in that group, I think. You know, well, you got to eat something, don't you?
No, but they're good. They give you good taste and some minerals and some other stuff. Do you know chanterelles?
Chanterelles
The
are
little
good.
yellow ones?
Those I know. Those are good. Yeah.
Oh, this is
Those
a
are
season
tasty.
for them.
Those are good with
Yes,
eggs
they are.
on a steak. Yeah. Yeah.
On anything. And
Yeah.
actually, in butter with some eggs.
Yes, sometimes you get it
Making
in
me
the
hungry.
restaurant. They ask you, "Do you want chanterelles?" Like in the hotel, if they're making the eggs there or something, and they'll ask you if you want
Asking
them.
about Polish people gathering those, you can actually
This is
collect
making me hungry.
mushrooms. Collect mushrooms and sell them for money. That's what a
Yeah.
lot of people do.
Yeah, they always see the people on the side of the road selling them. It's smart.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
And it's good exercise. Thank you. If anybody says it's not good exercise, they're lying to you.
Well, you're tramping through the woods. Any walking's good
Oh, yeah.
for you, isn't it?
You're walking and you're doing a lot of up and down because you want to see the mushroom.
Oh yeah. So
Yep.
you're bending
Preferably without
around a lot.
destroying it.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take a knife with you, a little small cutting knife. A paring knife, small paring knife, so you can cut the root, not pull the dog on top off, because you want the root too.
Actually, you
sorry,
can
not
pull
the
the
root.
root because it is not hurting the whole thing, which is the most of the mushroom is underground anyway.
Yeah, but what we do is we pull the whole mushroom and cut the root, and then leave the stalk with the top, and then we put that into the bag, and then we keep going. So that way, it's still animals can eat whatever we find.
Yeah, sure.
Well, we're coming. We've
Don't
talked
do
our
the
way
bag.
through.
The best one is the one with some air going through. The plastic bags are not healthy for mushrooms.
Yeah, I found that out very hardly. I found out the hard way. Whoops.
We've
Yeah, a lot
talked
of
our way
them
through the
became
first
decayed.
half. We've talked our way through the first half. I can't, but interesting stuff. And you guys talking to each other. I like to listen, actually. I got caught up listening to your conversation. I'm not supposed to do that, but it's like, this is interesting for a change. Okay, so, yeah, does anybody know what this means? Why I'm wearing this hat?
Oh, this?
Yes, I do. It is that time of the year, football.
Amerikanski football.
Yes,
as they
sir.
call it, or
College
as we
football.
call it,
Egg
football.
throwing sport, a football?
Not what?
Man, I call that handball.
Okay, handball makes more sense.
Nobody's throwing any eggs. This is the opening of the there was a few games last week, but this is the real opening of the season today. This is the University of Georgia Bulldogs hat. That's my team. Always has been. Two
You know how
times.
Chinese call American football?
What?
Olive ball, because it's shaped like an olive.
Really?
Yep.
Another reason to hate the Chinese. Okay. Yeah. So belittling our sport, one of our national sports. I hate to think what they say about baseball, given the chance. So anyway,
Well,
They're really good at baseball.
actually they
the
play
Chinese are really good
baseball.
at baseball.
The
And,
Japanese are good at baseball, not Chinese.
Taiwanese are good at
No, so
baseball.
are the Chinese.
Taiwanese.
Are they?
Baseball. Yeah,
They play on
really good
they
baseball.
play on the mainland because they play in Taiwan, right?
Yes.
Okay, the
Taiwan.
pangqiu is a stick ball. Makes sense.
No,
Yeah.
not Bang Chow. It's not what we're talking about. We're talking about actual American baseball, MLB. Long time, 120-year-old sport for the U.S.
Oh, the one that came from Poland, right?
Pretty much.
Pelot, or what was it called? Something? Pilates? No, that's a women's exercise.
That's the Spanish name for that
That's a
too.
different thing.
What?
There are at least 5 countries claiming that they are the originators of baseball.
Yeah, and Poland's one of them because I was
Russia,
out.
Poland included.
Russia too?
Yeah.
Seriously?
No, I didn't know about the Russians, but I mean,
Mm.
the British say it as well because they had a game called Rounders. But you know,
No, the British claim a lot of things. They
Polish is
also think
Poland.
football is the original place that they created it. No, it was not. Football was not created in England. It was created in the Spanish culture over there
You
in
mean
Latin America.
soccer?
They just brought it over.
Football was
You mean
created
soccer?
in China.
Football.
soccer.
Chinese would say it was created
Football.
in China.
So I know the Chinese would too. Yeah, but claim 5,000 years before their culture started. It was in Mayan culture.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
but you
Hey, hey,
guys use the
Stick
heads
it
of
to
the
'em.
enemies. Come on.
stick it to them with the Mayan culture.
That's right. That's right, chicos.
That's all we got for this half. I'm glad everybody's smiling after your horrific accident. My God.
I know. Tell me about it.
I'm glad that you're okay. That goes without saying, but I'm really glad you're okay. Because having had a couple of accidents, I know how bad it can be after one of them. At any rate, you didn't break anything. That's great. I wasn't so lucky. Twice or 3 times. 3 times. All right. So that's all we got for the first half. Join us in the second half with Olga Zimbo of Warsaw University, who lives in Mieszka w Międzyzdrojach. He lives in Międzyzdroje, and he's never even been there, I don't think, but somehow he lives there. And we're sticking to that. And Anthony McFarland Gonzalez, a descendant of the Mayan civilization. How about that? Put that in your pipe and smoke it, and we'll see you, along with whatever else you like to put in your pipe. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Well, welcome back, you, our friends and comrades in the viewing public. Thank you for taking time to put the show on, and I hope you enjoy it. Now, I've got 2 guests with me via the wonders of, and the miracle, in fact, of Skype. 25 years ago, we wouldn't have believed this was possible. It's like something from science fiction, but here they are. From beautiful downtown Zambrów, Olga Zimbo of Warsaw University, sinologist, and which is a specialist in studying the sinuses, and Anthony McFarland Gonzalez, a descendant of the Mayan culture, who is with us today in his civilian garb. Thank you, Anthony. Welcome back.
And with all his limbs in one place, that's interesting.
Yeah, recovered from
I
his
know, thank goodness.
bicycle accident in the fair city of Gdynia, which is pretty city actually, if you're in that part of the world. Now, I
Well,
just
it's
want
called Tri-City in Polish, you know, Gdynia, Sopot, Gdańsk.
yes, that's right, the Tri-Cities. And we should do this show from Sopot in the lobby of the Grand Hotel, or by the sea in the Grand Hotel. That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
On the Great Molo, that would be really cool.
We could do that. We could do that.
By Perla, there should be a nice pub that we should do it in there. That'd be a nice day.
Oh, that'd be good, wouldn't it? What a good idea.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Promote the company. Yeah. Here,
And one day you can come to Zambrów. They're right now creating a new brigade, armored brigade right nearby in Czerwony Bor. And a really nice ambona, you know, the little towers from which you can hunt. That's where you can sit and watch the tanks going by.
Ah, that'd be great.
Oh, that should be kind of cool.
I think we'd get arrested with a camera, but never mind.
I think we can arrange it. It's Poland.
We'll use a secret camera. Yeah. And we'll even get,
then you
then
get
we'll just
spotted.
get put in jail. We won't get arrested. We'll go straight to jail. Perfect. Perfect. A lot of publicity for the show. And speaking of publicity for the show, it's time to talk about my books again. I have another book coming out shortly, but this is an adventure story called Rome. It's all about cows on the moon. It's not. It's about a cowboy, a capitalist cowboy, and his world travels and how he makes $1 zillion and then, well, I won't tell you what happens, but he makes a lot of money and has a lot of adventures.
Wasn't Rome a city in Italy?
That's a different spelling, dear boy, as you know.
I'm sorry, I can't see really well.
It's a different spelling. This is Rome as in wander or travel around, yeah? And this book of interviews. Now, all of these lovely tomes, which will reward you with hours of viewing and reading pleasure, are available online at Amazon. All you have to do is look up my name, Will Richardson, on Amazon, and the books will come up. Are You Talking to Me? And Rome. So take a picture of that so you can find the books. Now, Are You Talking to Me is a collection of interviews I did with people like, including Costa Gavras, the great film director, Mike Tyson, who's a boxer, some people may know, Rutger Hauer, the famous Dutch actor and famous also for Blade Runner, amongst other things, Sin City, for example, many films, legendary Dutch actor. Bruce Willis, I think you know who he is. Gene Gutowski, the producer of The Pianist and many other Roman Polanski films. Andrei Konchalovsky, the film director from Russia. And Ben Collins, Vladimir Klitschko. Ben Collins is the Stig, you may remember, the guy dressed in white, who's the racing driver on the television show. Vladimir Klitschko and others. So
Okay, so I've got two sides of the Ukrainian war in one book.
that's right.
Konchalovsky and Klitschko. Come on, Konchalovsky is with his brother.
Oh, he is now?
Yeah.
He's gone over to the dark side?
At least he doesn't say he isn't.
Because in his interview, you will hear him talk about the truth about Russia. He's probably hard to say now, but in his interview, we talk quite a lot about Russia, the state of Russia. And at one point,
Klitschko is definitely on the other side,
Klitschko is definitely on the other side. I think Konchalovsky is, because his brother, Mihailev, has always been a supporter of Putin from the start. Konchalovsky never was.
He runs a really weird TV channel on YouTube, in which he actually tells unbelievable stories about the West and all the people he cooperated with, all the people he worked with. And Konchalovsky seems to be supportive of his brother. But I didn't want to talk about it. I wanted to talk about Mike Tyson.
Tell me what you want to know about Mike.
I tell you what you want to know about Mike. Do you realize that he kicked Steven Seagal's butt?
Where?
You don't know.
When?
You don't watch Chinese movies.
In a Chinese movie. Okay.
Yes, they made a cameos in China. There was a Chinese movie about Chinese making peace in Africa, and Mike Tyson was playing one of the African warlords, and Steven Seagal was the Western hero. Of course, the good hero is the Chinese one. And there is a scene, and they both act in that movie. And there is a scene when they have a fight, and Mike Tyson really kicks his behind.
His bottom, yeah. As we say. That's what I say. Very rarely.
It's probably one of the few movies in which Seagal actually gets his behind handed on a plate.
Interesting. I've met him too. I interviewed him, but I also met him in a very strange, not a strange circumstance. It was a very convivial circumstance because a lot of people don't get along with Steven Seagal or find him annoying.
You're not practicing with him probably, right?
No, I mean, that wasn't my experience. He was actually extremely polite and very, how do we put it? Because he was making it, he was very, he was great to me, But then I had done something that impressed him, which was following the sex slavery track through the Balkans. And I had written about that. He had read that story, and he was rather He said, "I wish we had known you before we made our film, because they were making a film about sex slavery. I would have used you as a script advisor because you've actually done the sort of stuff we're talking about." And it was predating, I mean, this is some years ago, so it's predating a lot of the publicity about sex slavery. In fact, when we did this story, I did it with another journalist, but we did sort of different things, but together we did different things. But at the time, nobody believed us about how bad it was in the Balkans. We could not get people to believe us. I did publish the story widely in Europe, but I'm thinking in the United States. And politically, people wouldn't touch it. But they knew very well what was going on. Yeah. And now, of course, it's become a big thing with the Hollywood stars and all of that. A lot of people jump on the publicity train for this. But if you've... Sebastian Junger was a fellow who wrote about this. And so that's what inspired me. He's a great, great guy. Great writer. Fine individual. And he's done a lot of really amazing reporting over the years. I can't recommend his books enough. Sebastian Junger. You can also find him talking to Joe Rogan on his podcast. He's a really, really interesting guy. Made films about Afghanistan as well. What's it called? Restrepo. Yeah, yeah, great film.
But Joe Rogan is a very interesting.
Did you think that was a good film?
By the way.
What? For
me, Joe Rogan is a very interesting interviewer and journalist.
Well, he is. Yes, he's somehow stepped into that role and become a good interviewer, and he has enough power to be independent. Nobody's going to cancel him because they can't.
Yeah, they tried to.
He doesn't need their money. He doesn't really care about that much money anyway. He's got a lot, but he was already rich before he ever started doing this. You know, he was a multimillionaire before he ever started on YouTube. So, yeah. So I've met Seagal and I've met Tyson, and they were both really cool with me. But that's a bit like saying I met Hitler. I mean, it could be like saying, oh, I met that guy Hitler. He was all right. He didn't say anything bad to me. Like, I don't want to sound like, you know, that. Not that they're Hitler, but, you know, just because somebody's nice to you doesn't mean that they're, you know, they're a great character. But it is some kind of empirical evidence, isn't it?
No, you're just like Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Collecting, talking, asking, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah, I'm just collecting information.
I really like the way Joe Rogan conducts his interviews because he's never combative, and that's really interesting. Because even though he's never combative, he gets things out of people. Very interesting.
Yeah, I don't believe that you get people to talk and tell the truth by just cross-questioning. I think it's really, really inefficient. And you have to actually care about the story, and you have to care about really understanding that person. I mean, I've interviewed people on death row, for example, and they know the difference between if you really care about the actual story and them as an individual, or if you don't. They know immediately. And if you can go with that mind, frame of mind, you have, to any interview, you have a much better chance, I think, of getting something. I think that's what Joe Rogan's very good at. Yeah.
There is this journalist in Russia I would like to mention. Her name is Katerina Gordeeva. She upsets the hell out of me because she's very impartial and very non-judgmental in her interviews. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, they're really very interesting, and they really show the frame of mind of the people she interviews. Really interesting. Although, you know, for me it is upsetting because she's still not trying to ask them why the war, but she shows a lot of things you can see. Unless, of course, if you speak and understand Russian. That's the only problem.
Yeah, which is a problem for, you know, 99.9% of the population of the world, is these impenetrable Slavic languages. And
well, the ChatGPT will translate them very soon, I guess.
Well, actually, pretty soon we'll have a thing in our glasses, won't we, Olgerd, that will translate language, right? Isn't that
It's going right that direction. I'm telling you, it's really close.
Yeah, which is amazing. So we'll all be able to talk to each other. We better, and perhaps we'll be a little more careful what we say, and we say something that's intelligent. I hope. Yeah, we can try at least. Anthony, what's the latest? If we can switch subjects now to what's been going on in Ukraine over the last week or so.
Ukraine's making a lot of headway. There's a lot of information wars that are not conducive for. It's bad propaganda on the Russian part, but everybody's seeing through the bullshit. Oops, shoot. Sorry.
It's all right. Don't draw attention to it. Bullshit.
Everybody's
bullshit.
So, and everybody's seen through the smoke and mirrors that they're putting through. But Ukraine has made a huge headway on one of the towns, especially in the south. They've made much more gains. They're losing. The Ukraine's not losing anything. Russia's losing so much terrain, especially in the town of Robotine. And that town is very critical because that also gives them mass push into the rest of the south. Reason is because those are one of the brigade headquarters.
Let's say where it is. It's just south of Orkiv.
Yes.
Which is on the way to Melitopol, right?
Yes, sir. And why is Melitopol very important? Right. Can anybody from here say? Yes, because it's actually one of the lead ways into the Black Sea again. And once they start doing that, they're piercing the hide of the Russian bull. Or not bull, bear. So that's a very good thing. So that way it can envelop. And the problem that is for Russia, which is very bad, is that they don't have the support that they need. Why? Because the West is finally sending some good equipment to Ukraine to actually fight off the offenders. However, the same issue has arisen that they're trying to also take Crimea at the same time. But Crimea is a smoke and mirrors act to get Russia off its, catch it off guard, to catch it on its heels. That way it takes and has them pull troops from the south to come and fight in Crimea to help aid that. And that way it alleviates a lot of that pressure that they would face initially in the south. So that way they're trained to take mainland Ukraine and then they'll go for Crimea. But
Anthony, have you heard that Russia is pulling off their air defense from far Siberia, from Kurili Island?
Yes. Now, that's an interesting one. So the Canary Islands is going to be one of the things that is heavily contested by Japan and Russia. So if they do that, Japan's going to take those islands back because they rightfully belong to Japan. And so if they do, be prepared for a probable conflict on that side over there. It might be a small skirmish, I hope. And might not even be a skirmish at all. I hope it's not even a skirmish at all. So yeah, those ADAs are going to be pulled and be put into action over here in the east. Well, our east, Russia's west.
Yeah, but they first need to transport them.
Oh, good luck with that. Their transportation system from that island to Russia is a.
I just want to remind you that it's just.
I would say an S word, but.
The railroad was just washed away on Baikal's on northern Baikal.
Yeah, no, talk. See, but they're going to stop before the Baikal crossway. So they're going to stop at a town, transport them by truck, and then rejoin again and head on top. But that takes time, and that takes money and troops, which they're really running out of.
Who's running out of troops?
Russia.
Yes, and this is exactly where I wanted to get to this point, because people, a lot of the disinformation is that from the Russian side, and they've got spokespeople somehow in the United States. Anthony, you're suggesting that some of these people are getting paid, but in back channels?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
Oh, yes. No, that's flat out. They're getting paid.
We know that for sure, right?
Yes, sir. That's a fact.
Yeah, it's quite incredible. And a lot of those people are turning statistics on their head. They're saying the losses that Russia have been sustaining are really the losses that Ukraine has been sustaining. Almost exactly the same. Oh, Russia's lost at Bakhmut 7-2 or whatever it was. in this area in terms of. Then they turn it on its head and say, "Oh, the Ukraine lost at Bakhmut
Has lost 7-2.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's stupid. They're turning everything against Ukraine, which is extremely it's the dumbest misinformation. I don't know how like hell these guys get their credibility, and how
I
they're
don't know,
still.
but they do. You have people on the comments going, "Oh, thank you so much, sir, for telling the truth, telling it like it is." But of course, these could just be Russians writing the comments.
They could be bots. They could be honestly the
bots.
bots. And people, yeah, and people say it's bots like robots. I'm like, no, really, guys. There are bots. There are programs that they program to actually make comments on a application, and YouTube is an application.
Yeah.
So they really do that. Like people need to understand that misinformation and propaganda is always going to be there, especially with the Russians.
And
They're never going to tell the truth.
Two of the people are Tucker Carlson and this Colonel McGregor, who I don't know where this guy came from, but he's set himself up as one of the biggest spokespeople for Russia that I've ever heard. I mean, even Steven Seagal isn't so bold in this area. Now, here's one thing he said. He talked on his interview with Tucker Carlson saying 400,000 Ukrainians were dead, not just casualties. 400,000 dead. And Carlson doesn't even bat an eye and ask him a question about this amount of casualties. Then he goes on to, which is ridiculous, of course. I mean, if it's 100,000, it's a lot of dead Ukrainians. But 400,000 is a cataclysm you can't hide within that society. Now,
no, you can't.
And then the other mantra of these people is, of these naysayers about Ukraine, Ukraine as a people, as a country, is that they're running out of people, therefore they're going to quit. Now, I can refute that pretty quickly. I sent you these.
Never quit.
I sent this to you before, and so you know this, but I was just looking it up. The message I had sent to you on my phone here to make sure I said the right thing. At the beginning, so talk about military losses. At the beginning of World War I, France had 39 million people as opposed to 45 million in Ukraine. Okay? Mm-hmm. The women were not fighting. So if you lost 8 million women from the country, I mean, leaving the country, it doesn't affect your war, your fighting men, supply of fighting men. So that doesn't matter. Now, the French lost 6 million casualties. 6 million casualties in World War I out of a population of 39 million. They won the war. They didn't quit. But it did change their society, because 6 million compared to 100,000 or even 200,000 casualties or even 300,000 casualties
it's nothing.
Is nothing out of that population. So what are these people talking about? Please. I mean, the facts are here. It's as if history does not exist. It's as if to these people, history doesn't exist, right?
Yeah, and people don't understand that war is it's this disgusting event that people cannot get past. It's because people don't know how to negotiate. They don't know how to talk to each other. They don't know how to solve problems. War is the last resolve that they have, or for some instances, this idiot that decided to launch this attack, it's the only way that he wants to do it.
Yeah.
But war is going to have casualties, and it's going to have ramifications upon generation till probably 3, 4, 5 generations down the road. That's the thing that people need to understand.
Anthony, you're absolutely right. It's 3 generations. I'm the last generation heavily influenced by the Second World War.
And this is what we saw happen to France from the First World War. They didn't really start recovering till the end of the century. So
war is not a good solution ever. It's
no, but the problem is that people don't understand that these numbers, they're not astronomical. They're actually normal in war. And actually, I'm really surprised they are, but they're not. First off, those numbers are not even real for the Ukrainian casualties. They haven't even reached 400,000 yet, thank goodness. But if they
that was 400,000 dead. He was saying, not casualties, not wounded. He said dead.
He
used the word dead.
No, 400,000 casualties. Yes, it could be reaching that number, but dead, not a chance. That number is incorrect, and I know that.
That's a cataclysm you can't hide.
Yeah. No, you can't. No. And if the fact that they're saying that is, it's people are believing this. It's like the numbers are small compared to what it actually would be in a world war. People have forgotten that wars kill hundreds of thousands, to include millions of people. Let alone concentration camps killed more people than this war has killed right now.
Well, of course they did, many,
population
many,
of Poland.
many, many times over. And again, to go back to the French example from the First World War, which is similar to the kind of fighting we've been seeing, particularly in the counteroffensive, with
Yes,
the rows
with the,
of defense.
Yeah, and that's interesting because this war is the combination of World War II tactics, modern warfare, and trench warfare all together. And the trench warfare is because they are trying, well, the reason is because they're trying to avoid detection and artillery, because detection are from what is employed in this war that has never been employed in other wars? Drones.
Yeah.
Drones help
Changed
with
everything.
location.
Yeah.
Yes. These and Ukrainians, people don't give them credit. They're an extremely technologically advanced society. They're very tech savvy, and they're one of the best technologically advanced countries for people, technical wise, in the East, in Europe. They are very tech savvy.
We got to go.
Sorry,
Anthony, we've run out of time, but that was a fine explanation. Thank you, Olgierd Uziembo, Anthony McFarland Gonzalez. Thank you very much. What a stimulating conversation. I really enjoyed it. Thank you. And see both of you fellows soon, okay? Thank you for watching, for being with us.